Okay, good morning, yummy babes. We're letting you in this morning on a family affair. We're going to get this garden together today, get ready for winter, put down some mulch, transplant a few of my plants from the balcony, and take a look at this garden. It is really doing its thing. Okay? If you want to see more of that, stay tuned and just keep watching. But in the machinations of time, I can't find any of them, and what I have left is this hoe. Now, if all you got is just one tool, make sure you use it. And what we're gonna do is talk to my son-in-law, because he's gonna dig the first hole, and we're gonna try to give some little information on how you use. A girl like myself is gonna hope I remember what. Sorry about that. What I'm doing. So let's get started. Now, this hoe, H-O-E, has corners, you see. And usually you probably would use a little bit, either a garden shovel or a shovel itself to get this stuff done. But hoes are necessary sometimes to keep the dirt up around or dig a short little hole. But today this is the tool we have. So when we're going to start, because we want to get depth into the ground, we're going to start with the corner of it. So we're going to pull. You see the corner? See how that's making that nice little pretty hole there? See that? So you go up there and then pull the dirt out of the hole, and then you go around. Now, you want to get some width. Take the corner of that hole and make the hole a little larger. Take the corner of it. See that? And make it a little larger. There is no excuse for you not to be able to garden. It doesn't matter, you see, what you're doing or what you have. Use what you have. There you go. Use what you have and make it happen. Go ahead now, gardeners. Okay? Okay, this is our baby Arnie. Some of you have already met her. She's outside with us because, like I said, it's a family affair. We have one more family member, but he worked late, so he's getting a little rest. And this is my baby. This is my baby. Oh, look, all right, let me let you through. You want to get through? We're going to get her out. Now, she is a conglomerate of about 6 different plants. This is a Mandela. There's no guarantee that when I transplant her out here, because she really is a tropical plant, that she's going to live. But she's growing so quickly on the balcony that this pot is not accommodating her. And my thought is go ahead and let her show for the time that she's going to show, and just really be fancy and just really living her best life if the situation occurs that she doesn't come back. Because I don't think she's perennial. But, you know, I don't know. And I might have those words mixed up, so if I do, forgive me. Okay, here we go. I want you to hold her under here. She's coming, okay? I want you to bring her leaves up top as her bottom comes out. Oh. See that? Hold on like that. And now, don't push her down. But let's see where all of her little tendrils are, because if we don't break anything and we don't damage her, okay, that's really going to hurt her if we do that. Because she seems to be somewhat of a creeper too. So that's to let you know, I don't know everything that I'm doing. But one thing like about a very brave bird girl like me, I'm going to do it anyway. And we're going to find out. We're not going to find, mess around and find out. But we're going to find out. This girl looks good. We're going to water her in at the end of the situation. Okay? But right now, we've got one more plant to get into the ground. So, stay with us. Keep watching. Okay, this is a Gerber daisy. I have one other one in the garden, and now the second one. Now you can see that I've been taking good care of it, but it needs to come out of this pot because what's happening to it? It's turning yellow. And so it's the other thing. So it works good if you have only a little small plot. That's fine, because you can transplant something that might want to go in the ground. And you might be surprised, even though they're not annuals, you know what I mean? That they may come back, because my moms are not annuals. But they, for some reason, they love this ground and they came back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this second daisy into the ground. And my son-in-law is gonna dig the hole, and we're going to record it to see just how that works. Okay? So stay with us and keep watching. Keep watching, keep watching, keep watching. Now, we're gonna move this camera over to my son-in-law and get a little snippet of him digging the hole, and then we're gonna do a couple of cutaways, maybe cutaways or actual filming where we show that progress of the garden. Okay, so while we're digging those holes, I'm gonna take a little moment to show you exactly what the garden has been doing. If you remember, we took some an African daisy, and then I forget what the other name of this little tiny flower is, also an African flower from Africa, and we went ahead and transplanted that. Also, some other plants that we hid under the tree. And of course, I want to show you my annuals that do come out, these little crawlers that will turn different colors and then grow berries to feed the birds and other animals when the winter comes. I want to show you that this garden is sensational. It is sensational, and it's doing some wonderful things. Now, if we get in a little close up here, you can see this little African daisy. And I didn't think it was going to make it. It's been in here now for over a month, and it's doing great. And you can see that this other African violet, that's what it's called. It's called an African violet. This little pink and purple one down here close. You get a little close in shot of that. You can see that it has flowered again. You see, and it is more than surviving, it's thriving. Both these plants are thriving, and I love that about this garden. Now, if you see these little annuals here, these are really ground covers, but I have been cutting them back hard for years. Cutting them back hard for years. You look down in here, you can see where I've been cutting them back hard because I don't want them to crawl. So every year, since I've been cutting them down for the past, maybe 7 years, they're now making a low bush. And they change to different colors, what we call variegation. I have several of them around the garden, one over there, and they are beautiful. Some things that you don't put in for the flower, you put in for the variation on the leaves. That also dresses up your garden. In addition to that, this particular plant is food for birds and other animals that eat berries. So it feeds them in the winter. So you already saw that we did this, we just put that out. And you can see that it's probably going to trail. So I've got to keep up with it because it seems to be a trailing plant. I don't really mind that, but I got to keep it out of my neighbor's garden. Okay, now let's peek a boo behind our little variegated plant, and we're going to see what we see. Look at that. Aren't they gorgeous? This is my little bells, my silver bells, and my little, the name is escaping me, but they have to be in shade to do well. And they're in shade and being overtaken by this mom, and they're still doing really well. Now, that is a testimony to a person who has not gardened or tried to garden really seriously ever before, and has not helped anybody to garden that I knew in many, many decades. Okay? So, that is special and spectacular. Now, let me see if I can get around here because I want you to see these mums. This mum, eventually, if you look in the center of it, when it starts to do this, that means I've got to dig it up next spring and divide it. Because now, whatever's happening in the center of it is telling me it's getting too big. So when that happens, then I have to divide it. Now, I divided two other ones. Let's take a close look up at them. This is one that I divided, and look at her. If she is not lush, she is so lush. Now, the secret was I added kelp in water as a feeder to these plants once I divided them to keep them from going into shock. So that is very, very, very important, and I hope that you take note of that. This one is another one, I think, under here somewhere. That one, this one right here. These two plants are not together. This is a separate plant. This is another one I divided, and she is lush. This one has been here all along, and look at her. Look how lush she is. Now, everybody is saying we've got a little bit of a problem because the one in the back with the rust color flowers, she's already blooming, and she shouldn't be blooming until September, October. These plants grow and grow and grow, and then they bloom just in time to show up and show out in the October, November months. And that's the way I planned it. But for some reason, I think I overfed her with a little bit of that kelp, and she just said, like, I'm ready now, so let's just get on with it. You know, that's what we're going to do. And that's exactly what she did. Now, I haven't been out here in a minute to do this little rose bush, but even her, she feels capped. She looks like she's trying to make rose hips, but I don't know. But yeah, she is growing. She's variegated. She's beautiful. She's doing. I got a little something eating it. I better try to figure out what that is. You know. Yeah. Because we don't want to do that. Okay. Now remember, when you're growing roses, they do have stickers on them, so be very careful. Now, we look over here. Now, we cut this down several years ago. This is, what is it called? This canthus, I believe it's called. It's a grass. It has a little wheat, and it grows to be over 7, maybe 6, 7 feet. And it's decorative. It's gorgeous. But we cut it down, and it wasn't growing back, and we fed it with the kelp, and it started growing. Now, the thing about it is that when it is pretty big, because when, you know, years ago it was pretty big, it kept, you know, setting off the doorbell. The doorbell alarm like somebody was there. And it was so pretty we didn't want to cut it, but we eventually had to cut it because, you know. So, here's, I want to call it a Dusty Miller, but it's not a Dusty Miller, it's a lamb's ear. And she's doing fabulously. And there is the little daisy and another one else. Now look here. Over here, they doing some stuff early. She's coming with her berries, right? She's coming with her berries early. I don't know what we gave. I don't know what happened on this side. I don't know, we overfed them on this side. What happened? But yeah, she's coming with her berries. Now I just wanted you to see that I got one more to show you. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and put that other Gerber daisy in. Okay, so now just keep watching now. Stay with me. Okay. All right, then. I'm going to put this down here. Boom. Simple as that. Now, what you can do is you can loosen some of its roots if you want to, because it looks like it's a little bound. And that's why we, see that? Take a good look at that. It's a little bound. That's what I was telling you about. It needs to get out of that pot up there on the balcony. We couldn't do any more, and it's not feeding. You see what I'm saying? So we need to get those roots out so that this plant can feed herself. You see, that's very important. You know what happens when you don't eat, Let me get in here. I'm going to have to get in here. Okay? Let me get in here. Okay. All right. Let's get this so we don't overwhelm these plants. All right. Okay. Now, let me talk to you for a minute. What we're going to do now is we're going to put this mulch down, because it's going to be, in any given year at the end of the summer, it's iffy. But you're going to need to take your plants on through to the winter and have something at the end of the summer to make sure they keep a little more moisture in than they usually do. And also, as we go to winter, to try to keep their feet warm. So, we're going to put in a little mulch over the top of these plants. I'm out of breath a little bit. And that's going to be it for us today. So, if you don't know what mulch is, let's take a little look. See that? M-U-L-C-H. And I've got black mulch, okay? She looks like she's a little hot because she's been sitting in the garage. Let's hope she's still all right. But we're going to put her down and make sure that she helps these plants to maintain. Okay, now, stay with us. Well, we finished the garden and I got as far as the basement stairs. Oh, I'm tired, a little hot. I did it early enough, but then right at the end it started getting hot. Well, I wanted to let you know, as a side note, my birthday's coming up. And I am going to tell you, on that occasion, on that video, how old I am. I don't know, I might tell you right now. I'm... Water too high.